Hello my friends, it's Lionheart89 back with another video, and this is probably going to be my finalization video in regard to Lion vs Grizzly. Now, even though Grizzly has a weight variation between 400 and I would say 900 to 1,000 pounds, I'll definitely say there are specimens within that weight variation that could be fairer compared to a lion. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions that people have of a lion and bear fight. A lot of people look at a lion-bear fight and just think the bear is just going to win simply because he's bigger. And that's just the typical bear fan logic. But there's a lot of factors that you are all not considering here. Now, given the circumstance, and by that I mean the circumstances by which they can encounter one another. Because a lion and a bear, even though there is potentially a difference between 400 pounds on the bear's side, potentially, it doesn't mean that the bear is not going to back down to the lion or even be capable of backing down to the lion, and I'll explain why. Grizzly is a solitary predator. Now, if he is hungry and looking for food, he is not going to want to risk getting into a fight with a lion. He is not going to risk injury, okay? He is a solitary predator. He doesn't have the luxury of dependency. He has to hunt by himself. He has to maintain his hunting capability. And by doing that, he has to avoid fighting under these circumstances, or he could potentially get injured and it could prove fatal to him in the wild, okay? You guys clearly, any bear fan who thinks, oh, Grizzly's going to win just because he's bigger and, you know, nothing stands a chance against this, you don't have a clue what you're talking about. None of you do. Okay? I know what I'm talking about. This animal is a solitary predator, and with it being a solitary predator comes solitary instincts to avoid injury, and incorporates strategic reasoning that can enable him to adapt to natural selection in the predicament of starvation. Because Grizzly's hunger is going to argue with him, and under these circumstances, he is not going to want to get into a fight with a male lion. Period. Okay, you guys just clearly don't have a clue what you're talking about. So this is the reality of a lion and bear fight. Under circumstances where Grizzly's taking in nourishment and he's eating, yeah, it's going to be a tougher fight for Lion to win. It's going to be harder for him to win a fight. I would say under those circumstances, he would probably either win under extreme difficulty or he will lose. You know, so it's just, those are the two outcomes, I would say, under the circumstances where Grizzly is taking in nourishment. But I think a lion is still powerful enough to injure a bear under these circumstances, and I would definitely say that Grizzly's solitary instincts are going to kick in if he gets hurt in this fight against Lion, or if he gets potentially wounded. So, because a lion is powerful enough to injure a bear, contrary to what people believe, bears have exceptional durability. They're very durable creatures, but that does not mean that they cannot be hurt. That does not mean that a predator like lion, who is designed to basically do the same thing as Grizzly, he is designed to fight directly in the same way Grizzly is. Now, Grizzly's stronger, I would say. Grizzly's like hundreds of pounds in weight. Like, the difference, there's a difference by 100 pounds in weight, a few hundred, 300, 400. Yeah, and yeah, obviously Grizzly's going to have the strength advantage to pin the lion down, you know, and bite and do some damage. But they're a specimen to male lion, contrary to what people believe. They're a specimen to male lion that are tough enough to fight bears and tough enough to beat them. So I think that a lot of people are just, a lot of people make a habit of underestimating lion as an animal and its ability to fight. But the fact of the matter is, let's talk about facts here. Lions endure way more combat adversity than any bear in the wild. Bears are big, they're strong, and they can bite, yeah. But the fact of the matter is, their mortality rate is significantly low despite that. They don't even fight to the death in most cases. The mortality rate of lions is significantly high. And this is just facts. You know, a lion fighting another lion to the death would be a more adverse encounter than in fighting a grizzly. Because the reality is, a fight to the death with a grizzly, a fight with a grizzly is not going to be to the death. So it's a more adverse fight for the lion if he's fighting against another lion to the death. It's just a more adverse battle. It's just more brutal. The lion doesn't just have fangs. He has claws, man. He's got claws. He's got 8 claws. Not just 4 fangs, 8 claws. The bear has 4 fangs, and bears bite with their fangs when they fight, but the lion uses 8 claws and fangs. He doesn't just use his fangs, he uses his claws too to inflict damage. So lions, in terms of, DPS, which means damage per second, the lion would inflict way more damage than the bear. In terms of DPS, the lion would inflict way more damage, and that means damage per second, by the way. But like, if you were to put 2 carcasses up and you were to have grizzly and lion attack it for 10 minutes, I guarantee you the lion does more damage to that carcass. 100%. The lion is going to do more DPS than that bear. So the reality is that's just facts, people. And really the reality is grizzly's not going to fight to the death in a lot of cases. There's going to be very, 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 very rare exceptions of it happening. And just considering their mortality rate, it's just very low. So people just don't know what they're talking about. So it is just, and here, this is just a primary example. This video footage that I've uploaded here is a primary example of Grizzly's solitary reasoning, and the solitary reasoning that I'm speaking of. He's backing down to a cougar, a female cougar, which is about 140 pounds. A male lion is potentially, even captive specimens or wild specimens of male lion are between 5'10". Wild specimens male lion are like 510 pounds. Even captive specimens are 660. It's a complete, a lion is not only way bigger, but way more ferocious than a cougar. A lion is on a different level of ferocity to a cougar. It's not only bigger and more powerful, but it's more ferocious. And you really think that under solitary circumstances, where the grizzly's hungry, that he's really going to stand his ground against a male lion? He won't, guys. He will fucking leg it. He won't want no part of a male lion if he's hungry. No part of a male lion. The male lion will win easily under these circumstances and make the bear run. And I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just someone who bullshits. I've got the evidence right here in front of you. The video evidence, the combat data, the evidence, the video evidence of Grizzly's solitary reasoning under these circumstances, under circumstances where he's hungry and he can't afford to get into a fight because of the possibility of injury. I'm proving this to you right now. So you can't say that what I'm saying is bullshit. I've got the evidence and the combat data right there in front of you. So none of you can say shit. This isn't just some bullshit. I'm showing you the evidence. So I'm not trying to bullshit anybody. What I'm saying is 100% fact. Okay, based upon the evidence that I've acquired. So I'm not doing this to offend any bear fan, but I'm just saying, man, these are just the facts of the scenario. I'm not saying Grizzly couldn't beat lion. Of course he could beat lion. Don't be stupid. Anybody with a brain can figure that out. But contrary to what people believe, there are lions in captivity that have killed bears, that have killed them in fights to the death, that have murdered them. Okay, now this proves as well that a lion is more than capable of injuring a bear if they can kill them. If they can kill them, they're definitely powerful enough to injure them. And I think if all it takes in this fight, I would say, is for Grizzly to get injured or for him to get badly hurt. If Grizzly gets badly hurt in this fight, he's going to back down. His solitary instincts are going to be appealing to him. His solitary reasoning is, and he's going to flee. He's going to flee from this fight if he gets hurt against lion. And I think, but also we have to consider also the possibility of Grizzly also hurting lion as well. So, in the interest of fairness, this is all about being But a common misconception that people have is like Grizzly has the size and he has the strength advantage. Yeah, it is a good advantage for Grizzly under these circumstances. It is a very big advantage for him. I must admit it's a big advantage for Grizzly in this fight. But I think that it doesn't require that the lion be stronger. A lion is powerful enough to injure a bear. It would only need to be a durable specimen, a durable, aggressive prime male, that has that's on a full tank, and I would say lion would definitely have more than enough stamina to fight the bear under these circumstances if he were on a full tank. If he had all that energy and stamina that he would normally use to hunt, he would definitely have enough stamina to fight the bear. But this is just a perfect example of Grizzly's solitary reasoning against cougar. Just watch what happens. The cougar is so much smaller than the bear. Now, there's an even bigger weight difference between a cougar under these circumstances to an African lion. An African lion is about 510 pounds. That grizzly is probably about 700 or 800 pounds. So, there's definitely like a 660 pound weight difference, or 560 or 660 pound weight difference there. A grizzly is only about 300 pounds heavier than a lion. So it doesn't take a genius to figure it out, guys. Grizzly, under circumstances where the lion has the carcass and he's eating the carcass, if he attacks that bear's going to run away. His solitary instincts are going to kick in and he's going to flee. So if he's backing down to a cougar under these circumstances, and I'm telling you, lions fight for their food, so the cougar's not even attacking the bear here, and the bear still backs down in the footage. So I'm saying, if the lion attacks the bear is just going to run away, and he's going to want none of it. So honestly, guys, it's circumstantial. This encounter is circumstantial. There are different circumstances that these animals can encounter one another under, and a lot of people disregard that. They just look at Grizzly and go, oh, he's big, he's unstoppable, no one's going to be able to beat him. But people don't consider that the animal has to make strategic adaptations in order to survive the adversities of nature, and people do not regard the factors here. This animal is solitary, and he has to provide food for himself, and he has to reason more vigilantly and strategically due to the fact that he's a solitary predator. And a lot of grizzly bear fans don't consider that. They don't consider the possibility of this. They completely disregard it in their ignorance. So they completely don't pay attention to, the circumstances, and it's just Grizzly has to reason vigilantly to avoid injury. He can't afford to get into a fight with another animal when he's hungry. It's too risky. But yeah, if lion were to encounter Grizzly under these circumstances, where Grizzly is hungry, lion will win this fight easily. Like the lion will assert himself for a brief moment, probably attack the bear a little bit, and the bear will just run away. The bear won't even entertain the idea of fighting the lion. He'll just run away because his solitary instincts are too appealing to him when he is left with the predicament of starvation. He can't afford to get into a fight and risk injury. He's too hungry. He needs to eat. So it's not about your ego. It's not about do you really think Grizzly gives a fuck about your ego? Do you really think he gives a fuck about the ego of bear fans? No, he doesn't give a shit about the ego of bear fans. He only cares about surviving. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit about your ego. He doesn't give a shit about the ego of bear fans. So the reality is the animal is doing it to survive the adversities of nature, and he is making strategic adaptations that can increase the possibility of his survival. Simple as that. People are just looking at this whole thing with their ego, and they don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about because of that. Okay, I'm not saying that Grizzly wouldn't have a strength advantage under circumstances where he were hundreds of pounds heavier. He would, but not on a pound for pound level. On a pound for pound level, he wouldn't have that advantage. On a pound for pound level, he probably wouldn't even be able to pin lion down. But, but like I say, and I think that's a completely different story if we're talking about pound for pound. But Grizzly, yeah, under circumstances where he's hundreds of pounds heavier, I would say he definitely has the strength advantage to pin a lion down. So, and that's a big advantage for Grizzly in this fight, but that doesn't mean that he's always going to win the fight because of that. Because the lion still has the power, the ferocity, the protection in the neck, and the predatory weapons to hurt the bear. He's got 8 claws. He's got 8 claws and 4 fangs. The bear's only got 4 fangs. When the bear attacks, he's only grabbing and attacking with his 4 fangs. The lion is attacking with 4 fangs and 8 claws. So his DPS would probably, the amount of damage that he would be capable of doing to a bear would be greater. His damage per second would be greater than Grizzly's. But like I say, I had to clear up these misconceptions because it's just bullshit. Bear fans are full of shit. And most of them don't even know what they're talking about. So it's just, I had to just make this video and I had to make these points in the interest of, Lion and, to clear up some very stupid misconceptions that bear fans have of a lion and bear fight. On a pound for pound level, I don't think Grizzly has a chance in this fight. If the lion's on a full tank, he's gonna, I think Lion would annihilate Grizzly in on a pound for pound level. I think he would destroy him. But, under circumstances where, the bear is heavier, then I would say, the bear has a big advantage of strength and being able to pin the lion down and bite him and ensure a vulnerability interval. But under circumstances, pound for pound, I do not believe that Grizzly has this advantage. Pound for pound, lions have a greater percentage of muscle mass and they will be stronger and more powerful than bear pound for pound. The bear's, I would say the bear's only stronger because he's heavier, not because he's not, the bear is not stronger pound for pound than the lion does. Bears have more fat than lions do. Like 60% of a lion's body composition is muscle. More than half of their body composition is muscle. Bears have more fat than lions, so it's not even because bears are more muscular that they're bigger, they're just fatter. And not just that, another common misconception is that they think that when the grizzly pins down the lion, that the lion's going to be vulnerable. Yeah, the lion's going to be a bit vulnerable, but I would say the grizzly's potentially vulnerable too, and I'll tell you why. Because the lion has claws, and all that the lion really has to do under these circumstances. I'm not saying that he would be aware of this in the fight, but if he were, it would be fatal to Grizzly. If lion were to have this knowledge of inflicting this fatal injury, then it would definitely be fatal for Grizzly, potentially, because the lion has claws, okay? And people think that, oh yeah, the Grizzly's going to bite him and do a lot of damage here. The lion only has to basically stick its claws into the bear's eyes and rip its eyeballs out. And not only that, sever the carotid artery behind the eyeball as well and cause internal damage. Not only blind the bear, but inflict fatal injury on him and kill him. So a lot of people don't understand that lion has these kind of predatory weapons to ensure that this is possible, you know. So this is another thing that people disregard potentially as well, that it's not just a vulnerability interval for lion. If lion takes advantage of this, he could definitely, you know, inflict fatal injury on the bear, you know. But it's a question of whether the lion is mindful or aware that he has the opportunity to do that in the fight. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I could do with more subscribers on this channel. And I hope to see you again on the next video. The next video will be Lion vs Grizzly pound for pound. Take care. Bye-bye for now.